Happy November. I am like, okay, I feel like some of the heaviness that we have been experiencing these past few months is getting lifted. Are you guys feeling it? Let me know. I know I kind of joked in my October forecast that I was like, am I going to start every single forecast with oh, that was a rough month? But I feel like the heavy energy is lifting. Are you guys noticing that? And I have a few reasons as to why. So I'm going to share some of those with you today. I'm also going to share with you, of course, what we have in store for November, what the November energy is bringing for us, how we can really use this energy to grow and expand in some of the things that we're working on, right? So, my name is Megan Alton. I am an intuitive strategist and the numerology queen. And I really love to come live with you guys every month and typically every week as well to share with you what the energy is that's unfolding in the collective at this time. And the reason I do this is because we live in the most incredible, beautiful, friendly, loving, and supportive universe ever. And there are currents of energy unfolding around us all the time. And if you understand what those currents of energy are, you can use them to support you, to uplift you, to help you expand into some of the goals that you're working on, some of the plans that you're working on. And you can use it as part of a manifestation process. Now, this is really powerful, whether you want to call it goal setting or visioning or manifestation, whatever it is, it's the process of setting an intention, a goal, or a plan, and then allowing it to unfold, allowing it to come to fruition, allowing it to come to be. And it's a process of both receptive and directive energy. And the more you can lean into the energy cycles and patterns around you, the more it's going to actually help you to get the things you want, right? Doesn't that sound great? Absolutely. So, November energy, comment and let me know. Do you feel like there's been a shift leaving October and moving into November? I want you to let me know in the comments how that's felt for you. I started off October saying, oh, like there's still some intensity here. And there was, but October was here to create a little bit of some ease. There was a bit of harmonizing, there was a bit of rebalancing. There should have been some kind of karmic adjustments that happened that sort of smoothed out some of the rough edges. And really, we should have left the month. So, yesterday, beautiful Halloween. I hope you guys had lots of fun celebrating Halloween. I certainly did, dressing up with my kiddos and having a great little adventure, going to a scare park, all the fun things. But we left the energy on this sense of like, I'm ready for a new beginning. I am ready for a new beginning. Did you guys feel that? That's how October ended. Was I am ready for a new beginning. And as we kick off into November, we're entering in with this energy of like, what is your devotion? What are you dedicated to? What are you committed to? And we are in this energy under the umbrella of November being a 7 energy month. Now, I personally happen to love 7 energy. I'm a ruling number 7. All the ruling number 7s, comment in the chat. Let me know. If you don't know what your ruling number is, you can comment in the chat with your birthday. And we have a bunch of numerologists on this call who will calculate your ruling number for you. I also have a freebie if you're watching this on Instagram where you can access in my bio, and it will just give you a workbook to help you calculate your ruling number along with a little blurb on what are your challenges and what are some of your gifts and strengths when you understand your ruling number. Okay, so comment below, are you a ruling number 7? And also, if you know your relationship with 7 energy, are you a fan of it? 7 energy is one of my personal favorites, and let me tell you why. Okay, let me tell you why, because I want to share a little story with you. 7 energy is this sense of how do you really embrace the wildness within. Okay. Embrace the wildness within. And what do I even mean by that? Do you let yourself trust yourself? Like, just sit with that for a second. Do you let yourself trust yourself? Do you? Like when you have a sense that you want to do something, or you have a nudge or an inkling that you should go somewhere, do something, be a thing, do you let yourself have that? Or do you hold back, hedge, hesitate, put yourself on the back burner and say, like, maybe later, maybe next week, next month, next year, right? Or do you just be like, you know what? There's a part of me that really wants this. Can I let myself have it? Now, I know it's not as easy as just being like, yeah, I'm just going to have it and do it. It's not as easy. And the lessons that November are going to bring us are going to help us develop this muscle and this skill set, because you guys, this is so important to be able to have a feeling and instinct and intuition that you're meant to go somewhere, do something, talk to someone, say something, and to follow through with that. That's actually the essence of your relationship with yourself. Okay. So 7 energy is really like, what is your relationship with yourself? What is your relationship with your inner guidance system? The part of you that has this relationship with your highest and best self, the part of you that's going to help walk you on your path and point you where to go next. We all have it. We all have a piece in our own selves, our intuition, our instinct, our heart nudges, whatever you want to call it, that is always going to guide you to your highest and best good. And your relationship with yourself determines, am I able to take action on these things? Because raise your hand if this has ever happened. It's happened to me. Oh, look, I still have Halloween makeup on. This is what happens when you use permanent Halloween makeup. Raise your hand if you have ever had a situation happen where you've set a goal. Okay, maybe you set a goal of like an income or related to your business or whatever it was. You set a goal and you're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to hit this mark and I'm going to hit it by the end of the year or the end of the month. And then sure enough, the time rolls around and you did not hit your goal. Okay, like obviously that happens to all of us. We set goals, we don't always hit them. No big deal. But here's what happens next some of the time. Okay, that I really want you to pay attention to right now. When I set a goal and I don't hit it, what happens? What happens? Do I beat myself up, become self-critical and self-judgmental? Do I have this negative talk where it's like, oh, Megan, you should have done that. You should have done this. Why didn't you do this? Other people can do it. Why can't you do it? And start spiraling downwards? Or even just in the very subtle ways of, you know what, maybe that's not for you after all. Maybe you don't get to have that, right? In these very subtle, defeating self-talk ways. And what that can do is it can cause us to hesitate to set the next goal or intention, right? And this has happened to me. So let me know if this has happened to you, where you've set a goal in the past and you didn't hit it. And the next time around it was time to set goals, you kind of like watered down what you wanted, right? You're like, well, I really want this. This sounds amazing and beautiful and spectacular, but I didn't hit my goal last time. So let me just like cut it in half or like shrink it a little bit or like just make it a little bit less than, and then maybe I'll hit it, right? Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Our job is not to control or manage outcomes. That is not our job. That is not our responsibility. But as soon as we put ourselves in the position where we think we're meant to control and manage outcomes and we don't hit them, then we get hard on ourselves. And then we water down our goals, desires, and intentions. And in doing so, we unintentionally water down our own life force energy. We water down our own power center. We water down ourselves. And we create this ridiculous self-fulfilling prophecy of becoming less than. Well, we did it to ourselves. We are not less than, but we somehow did this to ourselves. Your job is not the outcome. That is not your job. Here's what your job is. Your job is to feel the desire and the intention, to set that plan into motion by taking inspired action steps. Okay? Your job is to show up for yourself and your intention every day on a regular basis, consistently, and then release attachment to outcome. The outcome's not your job. The outcome is a co-created result from the universe, from other people in your world. The outcomes are always co-created based on universal energy, based on other individuals involved, based on other experiences involved, and that's not within your control, and it's not your responsibility. What is within your control and your responsibility is my choice to show up for me, and my choice to take inspired action, and my choice to stay committed to my process on a daily basis. That's up to me. The rest is out of my hands. Okay? And I'm telling you this with so much emphasis because this month, that is the energy I want you to experiment with on this beautiful 7 energy day. When I say to you, let yourself 7 energy day, it's a 7 energy month. Sorry, it's an 8 energy day, 7 energy month. But on this beautiful 7 energy month, let yourself be wild. Let yourself be wild. Let yourself feel the bigness that I know is in your heart because you're here and you're gritted to do beautiful, incredible, amazing things. And whether they're externally big or internally big, completely irrelevant. What you're meant to do is lean into what you feel and take action on it. And let yourself feel the boldness, the bigness, the wildness, the richness of it. And being unattached to where it takes you. It's going to take you somewhere fabulous. Who knows where? All you need to do is show up for yourself. Okay? So don't let past mistakes cause you to shrink. Don't let past stumbles cause you to water down your energy or your life force or your power. No, that's crazy. Show up for who you are today because in your fullness, you are part of the co-created outcomes that we all get to experience. In all of our fullness, we are part of the co-created outcomes that we all get to experience. Okay? Don't hesitate because of past mistakes. The next question I have to ask you is, are you willing to feel in the dark? Are you willing to feel your way through the unknown? Okay? You can use some of these questions as journaling prompts if you want to explore this deeper. Or do you need to have a fully laid out step-by-step plan mapped out in front of you? And, I'm not saying there's never a place for a plan because, surely there is. But there's also a place for not a plan. There is also a place for not a plan. There is a place for that. Can you let that be okay? Can you let not a plan be a thing? And can you actually embrace that and recognize there might be some shortcuts, some power, and some beautiful opportunities in the not a plan, okay? Because whenever we come up with this step-by-step plan, we are really letting our brain drive the bus. And our brain is great at keeping track of the past and history, right? Our brain knows all the things we've already done, all the things we've already read about, all the things we've already experienced. But if you want to create a new experience, something that you haven't done before, you're not going to have a step-by-step plan. You're not going to have the whole thing mapped out and laid out, plan A to plan Z. You're going to need to be able to trust yourself to step in the unknown. And that doesn't mean floundering around like crazy. Sometimes it does. But what it does mean is it means this is what I want. I'm going to set my intention clearly. I'm going to take one step. And then I'm going to stop. And I'm going to recalibrate. And I'm going to come back to my center. And I'm going to ground. I'm going to take a couple of grounding, cleansing, recentering breaths. And then I'm going to say, what's my next step? And then I'm going to take the next step. Now, this is a beautiful dance between receptive and directive energies that the 7 wants to guide us through, right? The directive energy being like, I'm going to take the step. The receptive energy being like, I'm going to ground. I'm going to feel and sense. And I'm going to receive guidance as to where to go next. And I'm going to let myself trust. I'm going to let myself trust. Just like I'm going to let myself be wild in this beautiful adventure. Be wild, like buck the norms. Let that be okay. I always like to share the story of Seven Energy being like a pioneer back in the day when everyone thought the earth was flat. Okay. It was probably someone with Seven Energy in their chart where the entire world around them was like, the earth is flat. Like, don't go sailing off too far. And they were like, you know what? The earth might be flat and it might be round. I don't know. But I'm feeling pulled to check it out and find out anyways. I'm being pulled to go and feel my way through it. I don't have a map. There's no compass. There's no whatever. I'm going to feel my way through it. And I'm going to continuously reassess as I go. And I'm going to trust that I have my own back. And I trust that I'm going to be okay. And the whole world around you might be telling you you're going to die. You're going to fall off the face of the earth. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to be okay. Because I can sit with myself, I can stay with myself, and I can walk with myself through it. And I can take an action step, and then I can center and ground and recalibrate and take an action step. Okay, so this is my invitation to you this month. And the reason I'm going so deep on this is because with the way the energy is structured around the month of November, it is really, really, really important to decide, what am I all in for? Like, there is no fence-sitting energy right now. There is no fence-sitting energy. What are you all in for? What do you want? I want you to have that. I want you to let yourself have that. Let yourself daydream it. Let yourself play with it. Let yourself imagine it. Talk to friends about it. Brainstorm it. Let yourself just go all in and see what happens. Like, what have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? Fence-sitting energy is the most unfulfilling energy to sit in. It's so unfulfilling. And it will be particularly unfulfilling in November. Okay, so are you willing to walk in the dark? Are you willing to use this as a practice to build self-trust? To learn what it feels like to walk in the dark and to hold yourself, to have your own back, to stay with yourself, to know that you're going to be okay, to call in the support that you need, whether it's friendships, coaches, healers, whatever it is that you need, to walk with you, to journey with you. Because again, we're not meant to do this alone. You're not alone. I am here for you. And there are so many other people that are here for you. You're not alone. We are all cheering you on. We all want you to succeed. We all believe in you. And the stumbles do not determine your success. What determines your success is your relationship with yourself. Because that's going to determine, can I trust myself? Can I hold myself? Can I stay with myself? And if you can, and you stay with yourself through your desires, you get to create that. That gets to be part of your co-creation. Okay. Are you going to choose to devote to a new way of being? Are you going to choose to go all in with the thing you want? Are you going to let yourself want it? Okay. If you have any comments or any questions or any examples of this that you've been playing with, comment them in the chat. I would love to hear about it. Let me know how that's all landing for you. Let me go into some specific dates. Yes, if you have a day timer or a calendar, you might want to kind of mark these down or note them off in your journal and kind of fill in your calendar later. But the first one being November 4th. There's this beautiful energy on November 4th that is really going to want you to recognize where your connections are growing and being enhanced. Okay, so your connection with yourself, we've already talked about this, I cannot stress that enough, but your connection with yourself is also a reflection of your connection with source, with spirit, with universal consciousness, with some type of higher power, with understanding that you are here for a reason and you matter and your gifts are important and your energy is here for something very specific and we need you. And you are part of a beautiful co-creation. So filling that on November 4th, what's going to happen on that day is you are actually going to have a spark of intuition hit, an idea land, a conversation. It can come to you through messages with other people or conversations with other people, or, you turn on the radio and you hear a song and all of a sudden, boom, you get this idea. Or, you call a friend and you're having a talk and like, boom, you get this idea. So give yourself space and time to let these new ideas percolate, flow in, and land on the 4th. Okay. There's going to be an activation that's going to happen. And there's going to be a spark of something new for you that day. The next week after that, so the week of the 8th to the 14th or the 13th, however you like to map out your weeks, on the 11th, we also have this very beautiful energy of, as humans, we often have this thing where in order to release something or let go of something, we often have to judge it, find fault in it, criticize it, look for all the problems in it, right? Because if there's not problems in it, why would I let it go? So I'm going to pick the thing. I'm going to say all the bad stuff about it. And then I'll be like, okay, fine. Now that I know all the bad stuff, I'm fine to let you go, right? What if it doesn't have to be this way? What if we actually get to lovingly release things, not because we judge them, criticize them, hate them, whatever, but we lovingly get to release things and hold them in a bubble of love, knowing that it's just not aligned on our path anymore and that it actually doesn't say anything good, bad, or otherwise about us or them, right? It doesn't even have to be, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for here? There's no, anytime we judge something, we create division. Every time we criticize something, we require its existence, right? Every time you judge or criticize something, I want you guys to really feel this for a second. Every time you judge or criticize something, you require its existence. You created energy for it to exist because you're judging it. So honestly, one of the best ways to allow a release and surrender is to actually bubble it in love, surround it in love and be like, thank you. I'm so grateful. I can lovingly honor the experiences of my past and release them in order to welcome in the experiences of my future. And so this week, I would say it's a release week, and it is a release week, but it's a release week with a different vibe than we might be used to. This is a time to recognize the gifts of the old ways of being and recognize the gifts of the new ways of being and consciously choose what you're aligned with. And even as I'm saying that, I'm like, oh, my language is a little problematic because old versus new, there's some tinges of judgment in there, right? Can you feel that? And I'm like, I don't even have the language to express what I'm trying to say, except for, can you feel it? Can you feel it? And can you notice yourself if you're finding yourself judge, tear down, criticize this week, the week of the 8th of November? Can you allow yourself to also lean into the love? And in doing so, recognize you're actually going to align with your desires with more ease and likely with a little more rapid shift, right? Like the pace is going to be faster. Because again, when you judge something, you require its existence. So if I'm complaining, judging, or criticizing it, I'm requiring it to be there. If I can wrap it in love, then I get to move on. Okay. So I hope that kind of lands and makes sense for you on the week of the 8th and then particularly the 11th of November. The next day I really want to bring to your attention would be the 19th of November. Okay, the 19th of November. So on the 19th of November, this is a really, really important day where I want you to fully lean in to your wild. And when I say you're wild, I'm like, what are these pieces about yourself that you don't always lead with or bring to the surface, or you might even water them down a little bit because they're not fully palatable. They're not acceptable. They're not appropriate. They might rock the boat. They might irritate people. They might be the cause of judgment. What are these pieces of yourself that you hold back on because of that? And I really want you to let yourself feel this for a minute, because if I hold back on a piece of me because of so-called perceived judgment from the outside world, that means I'm actually containing judgment in that trait of mine. So if I can own these pieces of who I am and let them unfold, let them unfurl, and actually let the community in my space honor them. Have you ever had the opportunity to be honored in something that you thought was judge-worthy? I just want you to sit with that for a minute. Have you ever had the opportunity to be honored in something that you thought was judge-worthy? Because I had that opportunity about a year ago, where a group of women honored me in something that I had never let myself show, be, feel, or reveal, because I was like, that's bad. That's wrong. That was my judgment. And when they honored it and saw the beauty in it, I was just brought to my knees with how powerful it meant for me to fully own those pieces of myself. So, on the 19th of the month, the things that you think are unacceptable, can you let them be just a little bit bigger? Can you play with them just a little bit more and just see what happens? Because these are essential parts of who you are. This is part of your essence. These things are going to be clues and breadcrumbs on the path to the goals that you have right now. Whether it's, and your goal can be it doesn't have to be, it can be whatever you want it to be. It can be, I want to make this much money. I want to spend more time with my kids. I want more time off. I want to be healthier. I want a beautiful relationship. Like whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But the numbers, the energetic currents and patterns are going to show you what is the next little key, the next little step, the next vibrational energy in order for me to continue to move that forward. So the question on the 19th of the month is, am I devoted to myself and these pieces of who I am? Or do I let my devotion be determined by outside messaging? Right? Which one? Okay. And then the week of the 22nd, there is going to be a beautiful ramping up energy that's going to anchor in some of these, some of these things we've been talking about might feel a little like ethereal or ungrounded, or you're like, well, I can kind of sense what she's saying, but how do I like land it, anchor it, let it like get traction, right? The traction happens on the 22nd. Okay. That is like the energy of like the rubber meeting the road. Okay. So let yourself play with some of these concepts that might feel a little bit like, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. That's okay. We don't know what we're doing when we're walking in the dark. That's okay. That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. In fact, that probably means you're doing it right. Right? So then, but around the 22nd this week, things will start to land in and feel a little bit more grounded. And you'll be like, oh, okay. I think I feel something here. I think there's some anchoring, there's some footing, there's some groundedness here that I can play with. And then at the end of the month, on the 30th, we wrap up with this one energy, which again references the new beginnings. And something that I really want to kind of talk about with manifestation cycles is it can often feel like we're rocking back and forth. Okay. So it's like, oh, like a little bit forward, a little bit back. Oh, a little bit forward, oh, a little bit back. It's like, when your car gets stuck in a rut in the snow and you're like pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. And then boom, all of a sudden it like gets out of the snow. It can feel like that at times. And sometimes when we rock forward and we rock back, we think, oh, like I just made this progress and boom, now I'm back to square one. You're not back to square one. You are not. But you're going to be presented many opportunities to lean into the new beginning again. And this is a gift, to lean into the new beginning over and over and over again. And every time you do, what you're actually doing is raising your set point. You're raising your comfort zone. You're stretching something that felt awkward, and allowing it to actually feel comfortable and normal and doable and like, oh, okay, got this. And in doing so, what you're actually doing is you're rewiring your nervous system and your neural network in order to create familiarity with your new pathway. And this is critical for you to ground and land and anchor into it, feeling like I can accept this. I can receive this. I can experience all the goodness that wants to come to me. Because if your nervous system and your neural network are not on board, it won't stick, right? So don't always think of the rocking motion as a bad thing. Think of it as, oh, I'm just reinforcing that I'm building a nervous system that's capable of experiencing this lifestyle. I'm building a nervous system that is going to honor me through my growth. And that's a very loving, supportive thing to do. And you can help it, right? You can help it. You're not at the whim of your nervous system. You can help it. You can take time with yourself, holding yourself, right? Having a warm cup of tea, wrapping yourself in a blanket, sharing your successes and your wins. Can we just all claim to do that this month? Okay. Can you guys all I don't know, pinky swear with me or make a vow or whatever it is that you want to do, that you will celebrate your wins this month vocally. You will talk to someone, phone someone, arrange a coffee date and be like, I'd like to celebrate my wins with you. Can you please witness me in this? I want to tell you about something that I created, accomplished, did. I want to tell you about the time I sat with myself, even though it was hard and uncomfortable. And in doing so, built self-trust so that I can walk on this journey. I want to celebrate myself for this stuff. Okay. So I encourage you guys to do that. If you're on board, comment in the chat. Let me know if you're accepting the challenge to verbally vocalize and celebrate. Pinky swear with me. Let's do it. I love it. I think I feel complete with that. I want to know from you guys, is there anything where you're like, oh, I wish you would have said more about this. I wish you would have said more about that. Comment in the chat. Let me know. I will happily come back and share more. And also, what is your number one takeaway? What is the thing that you received today where you're like, I'm going to hold this close to my heart. I'm going to do something about it, right? So I want to know, what's your insight and what are you going to do about it? I encourage you to take action on this, whether it's writing this out in your journal, whether it's talking it through with a friend. If you had an inspired idea while you were listening, take action on it and comment in the chat and let us know, because you have this beautiful window where I've likely activated something with you and my energy is supporting you right now. You are surrounded by my energy in support of you right now. So use it. It's there for you. Use it to take action to allow yourself to move forward in your creation. Thank you for being here with me today. I am so grateful for your time and your energy, and I can't wait to find out how you're going to move all this forward. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you next Monday for a little update to this. If I don't see you sooner, have a great day. Bye. Mwah.